The day I discovered that the Homestead Ridge Homeowners Association had somehow sold my 1,500 acres was the day I felt everything from disbelief to burning rage, because that land wasn't just an asset on a sheet of paper. It was my family's legacy, a place where my grandparents built their home, and where I had spent every summer learning about life and hard work. And yet there it was, in county records marked as transferred to a developer I had never met, without my consent, without notice, and without any lawful authority. It was a theft wrapped in paperwork, a betrayal that left me staring at the deed in shock and then clenching my fists in fury as I began to piece together how the HOA had claimed rights it never had, exploiting vague language, forged signatures, and manipulated documents to make it look like they had the right to parcel out land that wasn't theirs at all. I remember sitting at my kitchen table for hours, phone calls, attorneys blurring together, legal terms like quiet title action forgery, and concealed agreements floating through my mind as I realized this wasn't just a dispute over a fence or a landscaping rule. It was existential theft, and the HOA could get away with this. What was stopping them from doing it to anyone else? I wasn't alone in this feeling. Soon after I went public, neighbors from the community and beyond began sharing their own grievances. Stories of crippling fines over trivial things. Fines so outlandish some homeowners face losing their homes over leaves on a lawn or a misplaced Christmas light display, which has been reported as a growing problem with associations overstepping their authority and imposing excessive penalties without transparency or accountability. The sun plus one. And as more accounts poured in, it became clear that the Homestead Ridge HOA style of governance was part of a broader problem where powerful boards sometimes act with minimal oversight, enforce rules inconsistently, and in some cases mismanage funds or engage in questionable conduct, leaving homeowners frustrated and distrustful of the very organizations that were meant to protect their investments and community standards. Legalfix.com+1. But I wasn't interested in just exposing the wrongdoing. I wanted justice that hit back where it hurt most, and that's when my legal team discovered a crucial flaw in the HOA's own property portfolio. Many of the lakefront mansions, sprawling estates worth millions each with manicured lawns and private docks, had questionable title issues tied to the same lax oversight and manipulated records that had led to my land's illegal sale, meaning that the association's most valuable holdings were vulnerable under the same scrutiny that was now unraveling their claims over my acreage. So instead of pursuing a slow, traditional lawsuit, we filed strategic legal claims and liens that targeted the heart of the HOA's wealth, using documented irregularities and inequities to seize legal rights to those lakefront properties until restitution could be made, leveraging the law to turn the tables on a board that thought it could operate above it. And as those liens mounted, as control of those $10 million homes shifted under the burden of legal liabilities, the mood in the community shifted too, from quiet resentment to outright uprising, because others realized that no matter how small their dispute, a bit of dirt moved here, a fine levied there. They were all subject to a system that allowed the powerful to take advantage unless someone pushed back. In countless board meetings that turned into public spectacles, in county hearings where neighbors filed complaints and demanded transparency, we saw the true unraveling of the myth that HOAs are always benign stewards of property value. Sometimes, without checks and balances, they can become bulldozers of rights and fairness. In the end, the illegal sale of my ancestral land became the catalyst for something much bigger, a community reclaiming its voice, demanding accountability, and watching as the very people who once decided everyone else's fate were forced to relinquish control of their prized lakefront homes as legal restitution was applied. The money from selling those properties legally, fairly, and publicly was then used to compensate affected homeowners. Fund reforms to ensure real oversight of associations in the county and establish a trust dedicated to protecting landowners from similar abuses. Looking back, I realized the story wasn't just about revenge or reclaiming property. It was a cautionary tale about understanding your rights, about how organizations meant to serve community can sometimes drift into self-interest, and how ordinary people, armed with the law and collective resolve, can push back against seemingly insurmountable power, turning a personal loss into a legal victory that resonated far beyond my own 1,500 acres.